All right, so we're live here on Tuesday morning, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. In fact, every single Tuesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time, I bring you a live call called the 10X Business Owners Mastermind Call. So this call's been going on for a little over almost 3 years, and then it dawned on me one day to put it up on podcast, so now we're on episode 91 on the podcast channel. So for those of you out in podcast land, thank you for listening to the recording and provide your feedback. So today we're going to be talking about, we're starting off a series. It's going to be three sessions, 3 episodes of this series, and it's the Business Owner's Biggest Challenges series. So this is going to be episode number 1 of 3. Over this last year, I've done hundreds of coaching sessions. I've spoken to thousands of people in live audiences and webcasts. We've done a ton of surveys. And I've put together what you guys have told me is your biggest business challenges. So today we're going to talk about 2 challenges. Next week we're going to pick 2 more. And the next week after that we're going to pick 2 more. So if you're on the live call, you're going to have an opportunity to come on the live call, get live coaching on your biggest business challenge, whether it has anything to do with the topic we're talking about today or not. Now, for those of you that don't know, we're streaming this live on Facebook Live, so welcome everybody out there in Facebook land. We're also recording it because it's going to go up on YouTube as well, and it's going to go on the podcast. So if you want a copy of this recording and all the show notes, let me give you a number. You're going to want to send me a text number. And that, send me your name, your phone number, or actually your name and your email address, and send it to 916-741-0596. So 916-741-0596. Before we get started, a couple of announcements. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm going to freaking rock the house, okay? So it's going to be for the Rockland Chamber of Commerce. It's going to be a Blacktop Comedy Nightclub on Sunset. And I got to tell you, man, you're going to want to be there. I just finished up the PowerPoint deck last night, sent it over to the Rockland Chamber for them to print it out. And I can't wait to do the talk tomorrow. It's going to be how to create your strategic business plan for next year. So it's going to be a lot of how-to. Okay, you're going to be some motivation, but you're going to walk out of there with exactly what you need to know to walk in 2017 with a one-page strategic business plan completed, and you're going to be more fired up than you've ever done. So today we're going to talk about cash flow and tiredness and burnout, and I'm going to tell you right now, just getting your plan solved, getting your vision done, getting your mission done, getting all those components get ready to go into 2017, that's going to eliminate burnout, and we're going to get into how to deal with that here in a second. Next Thursday, you want to get registered because it's going to be sold out. So from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. at Arcade Underground, Revamp Sacramento is hosting the largest entrepreneur mixer in all of Sacramento for the whole year. There hasn't been another thing this big this year. It'll be about 300 to 400 entrepreneurs there. I'm going to be one of the keynote speakers, and I look forward to seeing you there. All right, let's just get right on into it today, because for those of you that have been following me for any time, I like to get to the bottom line, okay? So we're going to talk about cash flow. So of all the challenges that people address with me, in fact, anytime I ever bring on a one-on-one client, anytime I give somebody an individual strategy session, whether they're in one of my group programs, cash flow is always the first thing that always comes up. And what's interesting is I'm thinking about going through a rebrand right now. I was meeting with my marketing person, and on my website it says John Pyron, the Sales Doctor. And then the domain is johnpyronSalesTraining.com. I'm like, I want it all to go to johnpyron.com. Now here's the point of the story. For some reason in the market space, people brand me as a sales trainer and a sales master, which is true. Okay, I can go in and solve pretty much anybody's sales challenge. That's not my passion. My passion is helping businesses grow and solve problems and dominate their market space and provide lots of jobs to people and put a situation in place where the owner is extremely happy with the business that they have and they fell back in love with it. But my buddy Aaron Opfel, when he was designing the site, I came in and took over his sales and fired everybody and rebuilt his sales thing and turned his complete sales around 180 degrees. And he says, dude, you're like a freaking doctor when it comes to sales. And so, dude, you're the sales doctor. That's what you are. And that's how the sales doctor was born. And really what it came down to is I over the years, I have become an absolute master at cash flow. Because I've had several times in my business early on where I didn't understand the importance of cash flow. And I was so focused on, oh my God, I made $1 million last year. Okay, great. You made $1 million. Big freaking deal for you. How much of it did you keep? That's what I always ask. People come to me all the time, dude, I did $3 million last year. It's like this guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but it's so funny, the ego that this guy has. In 1997, I hired this guy and trained him in sales, and then he became a co-employee with me, and we were constantly, I was kicking his ass all the time in sales, and it ticked him off so much that he finally said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go and start my own company. And so he ended up building a multi-million-dollar company, $50-60 million, because of the passion he had. But what's funny is every single time I see him or meet him by chance in a restaurant, you know, he's always coming up to me and bragging up, man, I'm doing this, I got this going on, I'm this successful, I got this car, I got this house, I got this. And I look at him and I go, yeah, dude, but what's your cash flow like? And how come I haven't seen you in a major publication in Sacramento? And you can see all the air go out of his little bubble, and he walks away. Why? Why am I telling you this story? Cash flow is the absolute most important thing you can focus on in your business. Generating enough cash flow will solve every single problem that ever comes up that you ever have. Without cash flow, you're done. It's as simple as that. You can have a profit and loss statement that says, hey, I made $1 million, and then by the time you take out all the cost of goods sold and all the expenses, you're left with nothing. You know, I just took on a client about 3 weeks ago, and I said, hey, I need to see your financials. You know, and they're running a little over $89,000 a month in revenue. And I started looking at the revenue, and I go, okay, we're going to take out the cost of goods sold. Okay, here's the gross profit. Oh, that's a great gross profit number. Oh, my God. And then I take out all the expenses, and we're negative $88,000. How's that freaking possible on $89,000? I'll tell you how it's possible. They're not paying attention to cash flow. They're not paying attention to the money going out. Okay? And if you don't pay attention to your money, if you don't give it, see, money, cash is like a girlfriend or a boyfriend, okay? They're like a jealous girlfriend or boyfriend. If you don't give them the attention, they're like a lover. If you don't give them the attention, they're going to go find somebody else to give them the attention, okay? And that's why you got to pay attention to cash flow in your business. And so let me give you a formula here, okay? Income minus cost of goods sold equals gross profit, for those of you that don't know. Okay, income. We got income that comes in. Okay, and income can come in a couple of different ways. You can rerun your financials on a cash basis or an accrual basis. Cash basis is I give you service, I give you an invoice, you pay me cash right then and there. Okay, an accrual basis, I do service for you, I give you an invoice, and you've got 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, 30 days to pay it, and now I have a receivable. Okay. And most businesses get in trouble because they do not monitor their receivables. Okay, and I'm going to give you a system that I use in my own business to make sure that never freaking happens. Okay, because I'm going to tell you, man, there is no feeling on the planet when it comes time to pay your bills in your business or make payroll and you don't have the cash. Okay, you want to send yourself into a heart attack, an ulcer, into an early grave, don't monitor your cash flow and watch what happens. It will stress you out more than anything, especially if you have employees. And those of you that have employees know exactly what I'm talking about. So income minus cost of goods sold, that's cost of goods sold are the things that are required to be purchased to deliver on the income that I sold. It's as simple as that. It's not the rent, it's not the insurance, it's not any of that stuff. It is all the expenses required to deliver on that income. So at the top of your financial statement, you've got income, you've got minus cost of goods sold, and you're left with what's called gross profit. Okay, and sometimes it can be grossly bad or grossly great. Okay, it's entirely up to how you, if you're a service-based business, your gross profit's going to be very high. If you're a product-based business, your gross profit margin is going to be a little bit lower. Okay, but it's important for you to understand your numbers. So once you have your gross profit, now you have what's called your SG&A expenses, your sales expenses, anything associated with sales and marketing, your general business expenses such as insurance, liability, etc., and any employees that you have, and then you have your administrative expenses, okay? And every single thing else flows in there. Taxes are not a part of that. Interest is not a part of that. Depreciation is not a part of that. Okay, this all happens before that. So you have your income minus your cost of goods sold, which gives you your gross profit, minus your business expenses, which gives you what is called your net profit. Okay, and that's still not your cash. You need to take into account taxes. Okay, having a good tax strategist is important. And I'm not talking a CPA. Now, no offense to you CPAs out there, but you and I both know that 5% of your exam is tax related. You could fail the whole damn thing and still get your CPA. Okay, I can't tell you how many times I've taken over a business and I go get into their books and they're not taking advantage of literally a third of the tax strategies that are available to them as a business. Why? Because the CPA doesn't understand tax. They understand accounting, okay, and they understand tax, and they can file tax returns and that sort of thing, but I can give you client after client after client that I've had to take them to my tax guy, okay, who understands business tax and fix their crap, okay? So make sure that you have a good bookkeeper, you have a good CPA and accountant to make sure that bookkeeper did a great job, and then make sure you take your stuff to a tax person that knows and practices and only focuses on business tax. And you will make a crap load of money and you'll improve your cash flow. Okay? Now, that's the formula. Income minus cost of goods sold equals gross profit. Gross profit minus expenses equals net profit. The velocity in which this process happens is what creates cash flow. It's from the time you deliver the service to the time you collect the bones or the paper determines your cash flow. Okay? So, I had my assistant Amy look me, and I didn't bring my glasses, so I'm getting old, man. I'm going to have to bring, let me read you a little definition of velocity. Velocity is a physical vector quantity. Both magnitude and direction are needed to define it. The scalar absolute value magnitude of velocity is called speed. Okay? Being a coherent derived unit whose quantity is measured in the SI metric system as metrics per second or as the SI base unit. Now, I have no idea what the hell that crap means. All I know is it's speed. Okay? Velocity. What's the velocity of your invoices? What's the velocity of your billings? Okay? What's the velocity of you billing your client and getting paid? That's what you got to focus on. How fast can I get that cash? Okay? And if you're struggling with cash flow right now, here's the biggest question I want you to ask yourself. And I learned this from my mentor, Grant Cardone. Who's got my money? Okay? So if you're not getting the cash flow that you want, who has my money and how can I go get that? So let's talk about how can you improve cash flow? Okay? Because this is a results podcast, not just a plain old teaching podcast. Okay? Well, the shortest way is to make sure that your billing is on time. Okay? If you've got an existing business and you're billing on an accrual basis or even on a cash basis, and you deliver service, this is the biggest mistake I see small business owners making is they ignore the invoicing. And I come in and I go, man, I'm having such problems with my cash flow. And it's like, okay, well, talk to me about your billing system. Oh, man, I've been so busy, I haven't had a chance to get to my billings. I'm like, well, what the hell do you expect, man? You know, you got to either make time to put together the invoice or hire somebody to do that. Every single day that goes by that you're not collecting that money, it's losing value. Ever since we went from a gold standard in this country to a currency standard in this country, our money loses value the longer it sits still. So it's no longer can it sit still. That's why it's called currency, current, right? It needs to move, okay? So if you deliver service to somebody and you're sitting on a receivable, you need to bill that so now they owe you, okay? And here's a tip for if you're on an accrual-based system, you need to have very well-defined terms with your client, okay? So I would recommend when you bill your client that you make it very easy for them to pay, either via ACH draft, which you can set up at your bank, which is probably the easiest form of payment and quicker for you. Next would be credit cards. And some of you get hung up on, oh, man, I don't want to pay the fees. I don't want to pay 2.5%. I don't want to pay 3% if it's an American Express. I don't want to get stuck with that. What would you rather have? You send out an invoice and wait 15 days to get paid? Or would you rather hit that credit card and get it in your bank today or tomorrow? So it's just a cost of doing business. And so too many people get hung up on, they step over dollars to pick up pennies. And so I'm telling you, you want to improve your cash flow? Offer your client easy ways to pay. ACH, credit card, check. Okay, check would be my third choice. It's like, hey, I give you an invoice, you send me that check. And so offering different ways for them to pay. Another thing I want to point out is don't just nilly-willy offer extended net terms to clients. I see businesses do this all the time. Hell, I used to do it. And I remember Phil Bristol came in and he said, what the hell are you doing? And I go, well, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you gave this client net 30 terms. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, doesn't everybody else? He goes, no. You know? Everybody else makes them fill out a credit application, and only when their credit has been verified do they extend them terms. And a lot of small business owners, myself included, have been guilty of this in the past, guilty of it right now probably, is we've given terms to people that don't deserve terms. You know, I can't tell you how many times I go into a company and they have, you know, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 in back receivables that are overdue. And we got to go through and we got to call them. Hey, you know, this is John with XYZ Company. Hey, I noticed you got outstanding invoice number, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, you know what? I got that. I finally got it. I just opened the envelope. It's going to be in the next check run, right? Which is bullshit. Because all it means is they're putting you off. Okay? You're not going to be in the next check run. Okay? Next check run could be right now by you pressing your finger. Hey, I tell you what, no problem. We don't need to wait for the next check run. Give me the company credit card. Whoa, you know. And so some of you sit there, you take it from your clients, man. And you need to stop. Okay? You delivered the service. You showed up when you said you were going to show up. You delivered the service. They said they were satisfied for the service. And now you go to get paid and they want to hold that money from you? And you sit there and tolerate it? Man, you need to go find another client and fire their butt. Okay? Or talk to them and say, hey, listen, I am not your bank. Okay? I don't own a percentage in your business. Okay? If you want me to show up and do a great job for you, you need to pay me when I expect to get paid. And you need to have now the reason a lot of business owners, okay, will not have this conversation with their client is because they don't have enough going on in their pipeline and they're too scared to lose that one client. Okay, and that's something else we're going to talk about, how to increase your cash flow. It's a whole lot more easier to just focus on increasing revenues. Okay, so before I move on to increasing revenue, I want to close the loop on this. Make sure you have a process. So if I'm going to give somebody terms in my business, they're going to fill out a credit app. I'm going to check that credit app, and then I'm going to decide what terms they're going to get. My favorite terms, if I'm going to extend terms to somebody, is net 10. Okay? There's no reason for me to wait for net 30. Okay, I can get net, if I'm in a product-based business, I can get net 30 terms from my vendors, okay, because they're these monster Fortune 500 companies, and they can afford to have those outstanding receivables, okay? But you know what? If a client expects me to go out and buy hardware, software, tangible stuff, and then I'm going to float that cash for them, man, they need to pay it when I deliver it, okay? Otherwise, I'm not going to order it. So what I tell people is, hey, on tangible goods, stuff that you can physically touch, software licensing, whatever, right? I require them to give me 100% up front before I buy it for them, okay? And I remember when I converted all of my clients to that, I only had like 1 or 2 bitch and complain about it, okay? Most of them said, hey, no problem, we totally understand. So I require 100% due up front for the taxes and the hardware or software or the tangible good, okay, and 50% of any labor I'm going to do if it's a project, okay, and that's how I do business. Now, I've done business other ways, but what I've discovered is when I say, hey, this is how I do business, people say, oh, okay, that's fine. They want what I have to offer, okay? That's why in my one-on-one coaching program, you pay your fee up front, and you don't pay, you don't get no time with me. It's just how it is. Okay, I go to swipe your card and it doesn't work, we have a conversation, okay? And you need to rectify that right away. And if you don't, then we're going to part ways, and I got somebody else that will come in and replace you, okay? But you need to stop giving yourself away for free, okay? So have a standard for cash flow. If you're an accrual-based business, here's what I would recommend. Make sure that you're billing every single Monday. Okay, it's a great day to do billing. So the week closes out. Okay, some businesses prefer Friday, some businesses prefer Monday. I like Monday. So all the stuff from the previous week, I'm billing for on Monday. I'll start getting checks that week because I'm going to email my invoice and I'm going to mail them a physical copy. Because I can tell you right now, man, I never got that email. It's amazing, right? I never got the email. So I make sure a physical copy goes out too. Then what I do is if you have an administrative assistant, okay, what I'd highly recommend if you really want to improve your receivables is I call them. I call them 4 days later. Or I have my assistant call them. I say, hey, we sent you out the invoice the other day. I just want to make sure that you got it. And they go, yeah. Okay? Now, that one tip right there will make you millions of dollars. I know this because I was running one of my companies running well over $4 million a year, and the receivables were a freaking nightmare. Okay, it was just like, at one time it was like $220,000 in outstanding receivables. You want to give yourself a coronary? Have that, right? And then have $100,000 payroll coming up. Okay, so not good. Okay, so here's what I did to solve it. I told my assistant, I said, listen, here's what we're going to do from now on. You're going to invoice on Monday. I want you to call 4 days later. You talk to the CFO, the bookkeeper, whoever's over there, and you make sure they got my invoice and that it's in their system. That one phone call took my receivables from an average of 62 days to get paid down to 12 days to get paid. Now, if you don't understand this, 62 days down to 12 days is a huge difference in cash flow. Okay? I became a whole lot happier person, a whole lot happier camper. I started singing Kumbaya and all that stuff, man. It changed my life. And so you need to have the system in place. Okay? So that's your internal systems. Now, let's switch gears because the biggest challenge with cash flow is you don't have enough revenue. Okay? It's as simple as that. What I would recommend you do is this. Okay? 2 things. Number 1, go and look at all the expenses going out of your business right now. Okay? I do this once a year. Go and look at every single expense line item you have in your business and ask yourself, is this necessary? And if it is, leave it. If it's not, delete it. Okay? And you go through that process, and now I freed up cash flow. And then I'm done. I don't look at that no more. I literally will focus 95% of my attention now on increasing revenue, increasing sales, okay? Because that's how you solve your cash flow problem. So let's talk about that. The number one way to increase your revenues, the number one way to increase your revenues right now is with your existing clients. Let me say that again. The number one way to increase your revenue right now is with your existing clients. Why is that? Because they have bought from you, and they are ready to buy from you again. And all you have to do is give them a reason to buy again. Okay? Now, here's what you do. You send them a survey. Okay? Now, for those of you that have not been on my calls in the past and you don't know what I'm talking about, I have an entire video, document, everything on how to do a survey. Okay? I'll give it to you for free. It's in the Dropbox. Let me see. What's that number again? 916. Where's it at? There it is. 916-741-0596, right? 916-741-0596. Put client survey, okay, as the title, and put your name and email address in there, and then Ashley, can you add them to the Dropbox? You're going to download the video and the form and all that stuff, okay? So the number one way to increase your cash flow is with existing clients. So we go and we survey our existing clients, and we're going to do a couple of things. Number one is, what are the services, what are the products, goods, or services that we're providing to you, or that we have provided to you, that you absolutely love? Okay? That's not question number one. Question number two, what are the products or services that we have offered you or delivered to you in the past that you're like, man, this could be improved? Question number two, right? So now question number three, the products or services that you would like to see improved, or actually the question goes like this. Please list any products, goods, or services that we either currently provide that can be improved, or that you would like to see us add that would complement what we already do for you, that would make your life easier. That's question number three. Question number four is very important. What are your key frustrations, issues, and or concerns that you have in your business right now? What are the key frustrations, issues, and or concerns that you have in your business right now? Question number five, and the final question. So when you're doing a survey, no more than 3 to 5 questions. Okay, that's rule number one. And you ask them, if we were to offer you an additional service that would help you increase your revenues or have a better client relationship with your clients, would you be interested in that new product or service? So if we were to offer you a new product or service that will help you increase your revenues or make your existing client relationships better, would you be interested in that new product or service? Most of them are going to say yes. Now, here's what doing this survey is going to accomplish. Number one, they're going to tell me what products or services I like. Okay, so now I know which ones I'm going to really pour more energy and effort into making better. Okay, they're going to tell me about the products or services that are kind of like, I don't know, you know, and I need to know that so I don't continue to pour time, energy, money, effort into those unless I'm going to spend the time to improve them. Okay, the answer to the third question is going to tell me flat out what products our clients have the best ideas. Okay, they really do, and they're going to help us, right? And so they're going to say, hey, man, I really would appreciate it if you would add, you know, maybe this product or maybe this service or something here. They're going to give you ideas. Okay? The answer to the fourth question, right, is going to tell us, hey, what are the client's big challenges? What are their frustrations? What are their concerns? Because if my client tells me their key frustrations, issues, or concerns, I can design products and services to solve those problems. That's what we do as business owners. We solve problems. We get paid money in business and in sales to solve problems. So that's what we get paid for. And so by knowing that, we can go out and either we can deliver, create a new product or service, or we can go out and get a third-party affiliation and do it that way. So I have my assistant Ashley right now going out and getting me set up with affiliate programs. So I'm forming a new corporation right now. In the past, I would have gone to my buddy Mike Sastry, said, hey man, form me a new corporation. Okay? I need a new corporation. This one I don't want it to be a C Corp. I want it to be an S Corp. I want a buy-sell agreement because I plan on bringing in some partners. We're going to fund it with this amount of cash. They give him all the details. And you say, okay, it's very simple. It's $2,500 plus fees. I'm like, okay, no problem. So he'd do that. I go to his office. He'd have it all nice and packaged and completed. And here we are $3,300 later, and I got my corporation. And I'm like, I've done 5 corporations with this guy. And I'm like, this next corporation, I'm like, I know how to do this crap. What? There's got to be an online service out there that can set up a corporation. You know, there's just, I mean, in today's world, there's just got to be, right? So I went out and found, what's the name of that company? Incorporate.com? Incorporate.net. Okay. So I'm going to post that in the show note. So I went to Incorporate.net. I filled out the information there, all the stuff about my corporation. I got a call from the guy, and he goes, hey, you know what? We got to put a couple more tight, things on the thing, and we're going to be done. The whole thing's going to cost me literally $485 total. I'm like, God damn, man, this is, excuse my language, that's huge. I said, Ashley, go find. Do they have an affiliate program? Because I teach business owners. Well, come to find out they do. And so we're set up as an affiliate. I'll make sure to get you the affiliate link. And, when you're going to form a corporation or your next corporation, they got a team of experts that will walk you through it. You go there, you do that, you put in my affiliate code. Guess what? I'm going to get a commission for that. Okay? So that is an example of taking in a new product or service to your existing clients and getting compensated on the back end, not out of the money from your client, but out of the money they pay that vendor. Okay? One of my top heroes is a guy named John Lee Dumas. Okay? Highly recommend you subscribe to this podcast. Go to eofire.com. eofire.com. Okay? And he publishes his income report. And last month he did $147,000 in revenues. Take out all the costs, was left with $129,000 in net profit. And every single dime and dollar came from affiliate programs. Not even some of it came from his book and some of the online courses he had, but the lion's share of that revenue came from somebody else. And so whenever I go into a business, the reason Aaron Ottfeld called me the sales doctor, right? And the reason every single client I go into one-on-one, I double-digit growth their cash flow within the first 90 days is I go, okay, who's got my money? Okay? And 90% of my focus is with existing clients or the existing pipeline. And we go after those existing clients with new products, new offerings, new services, all that stuff, and cash flow goes, and a lot of times there's no cost involved, so it's just straight to the bottom line. So it's like people that refer me. I got people that will refer me into a client to take them on as a consulting client or deliver them a coaching session. And they all know, you refer me into somebody, I'm going to give you a 10% residual referral fee, meaning every single time that client writes me a check, I'm going to send you a check, And so it's another example of finding somebody else that can help your client. That's why doing that survey is very important. The answer to the 5th question that they're going to answer will tell you what's my prospect list, right? So now I know who I'm going to call once I develop these products or services. Okay? I'll give you an example, a real live example. A client of mine, Mouse Calls Technology out of Nashville, Tennessee. You can go to their website. It's mousecallsonline.com. Okay? mousecallsonline.com. Go to the VIP area. Click on VIP. Okay? And in the VIP area, what you're going to see is it good to go? Okay. In the VIP area, you're going to see 3 programs. okay, that we designed and we created back in February of this year. And because they came to me, he's like, he's been in business for 18 years. And he's like, man, I'm stuck. I cannot seem to grow my cash flow. I'm like, no problem. Here's what we're going to do. We put together a survey. He had 350 active clients. We sent out the survey to all 350 clients. We got 23 of them in back. And the commonality with each one is like, we would like to be able to call your office, get support, and not get billed for it. Okay? We would like to be on a plan like that. Number two is we would like for you to be able to drop our computers off at your depot and have you fix it and not get billed for it. We just want it to be a part of your service. Next is we want to be able to have a super duper discounted rate for on-site. Okay? Because and we would be more than willing to pay a monthly fee for this type of service. I'm like, oh my God, so we created these 3 programs, and we said, okay, we went out and found a help desk company. We went out and found, we priced it all out, and we said, okay, for $29.99 a month or $299.99 a year, you're going to be on the lowest plan, right? The VIP club plan. And with that, you're going to get unlimited help desk, maintenance, and backup. Okay? And then we said, okay, we need to create a middle plan. So for $39.99 a month, not $399.99 a year, so you get 2 months for free. You get all the stuff covered in Plan A, and you're going to get antivirus. And you can drop your stuff off at the depot, and we're going to fix it for free. Okay, sound familiar? The client said that this is what they wanted. This is what we're going to give them. The third plan, $49.99 a month or $499.99 a year, so you get 2 free months. We will give you a discounted on-site rate. Okay? We went out to Fiverr, F-I-V-V-R. That's another one we need to get an affiliate with, by the way. Fiverr, F-I-V-V-R.com. We said, here's the graphics that we need, and for $60, they created the graphics. Okay? They created the line cards. They created all the graphics for the programs and everything. We had it all done. We put it together. I helped them create an email script. Okay? And we send it out. Now, once we're done with that, here's what happened. And some of you, what I'm about to say is going to be a breakthrough for you. The moment we created the 3 programs, what did we have? We had 350 qualified, I mean super warm qualified leads, which were our existing clients. And all we did is we sent the email out, okay? Cheryl and Travis got on the horn, started calling. Hey, this is Cheryl, Mouse Calls. Hey, we sent you out an email yesterday, and I wanted to follow up on it. Okay? Which one of those plans makes sense for you? That was our big phone script, man. It wasn't like we had to take them through the sales process. No, they were already an existing client. We're like, hey, we looked at the survey that you answered. We came back with the answer. There's 3 programs. Which one do you want? Okay? And 90% of them chose the middle plan, and 90% of them paid a full year in advance. Okay? So the average was $320. We closed 43 of these in 12 days. Okay? So what's the math on that? Do the math on that real quick. You got your calculator? So it's 43 times 320, and then let me know what that number is. Okay? So in 12 days, I think it's like 14,000, almost 15,000 bucks.
Yep, $13,760.
$13,760 in brand new cash that had no expenses with it at the time. Okay? And that was just 43. We still had, 307 more to go. Not to mention all the new clients. Now, what's interesting is they just moved in a new building, so now we got a whole brand new community that we're going to go out to. Here's the point, okay, because that's great for Mouse Calls. This is for you. I want you to text me your information, okay, text me your email, and if you're worried about me putting you on the mailing list, you damn right I'm going to, okay? But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to spam you with a bunch of worthless crap, okay? The only thing I send out to my email list is really just valuable content, okay? And on the occasion that I do a webinar or whatever, you're going to get invited to it, okay? So but I promise you, I'm going to just send you great stuff, okay? So you send me, text it to me, your name, your email address, and I'll put you in the Dropbox. Take that survey, go back and listen to this recording, and get the questions. Can you do me, Ashley, because those questions are not on that survey. There's other questions. Can you go back through and write down those, listen to the recording, write down those questions, and we'll post it on there for them, okay? So go back, get the survey, do it to your, send it out to your clients. Heck, if you want me to review it, no problem. Get your stuff done first, though. Get the surveys done, get the products, the services, the things that you're looking to pitch to your deal, okay? Email them to me, okay? Send me a text and say, hey, I emailed them to you. Can you quickly look them over? I'll gladly look them over for you, okay? I'll give you some feedback. But design some new products or services for your existing clients. For a lot of you, I would venture to say 85 to 90% of you, if you do exactly what I talked about right now and nothing more, you'll see a huge increase in your cash flow in the next 90 days. I know this because over 95% of the one-on-one clients that come to me, this is the primary thing I do with them in the first 90 days, okay? So the client I was telling you about earlier, right? Over $89,000 a month in revenue, lost $8,000, you know. I went in there and I said, hey, you know what? This person's got to go. This person's got to go. These expenses got to come down, and we're going to go after revenues now. So I went in and did exactly what I told you. Looked at the financial statement. I said, that's going, that's going, that's going. That person's going, that person's going. Boom, 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 boom. Now we got it solved. We fixed cash flow. Now we're going to go out and focus on revenues, okay? And so I'm going down there this afternoon, and that's all I'm going to do all afternoon is spend time with their sales team and help them go after revenues. And we're going to freaking dominate, okay? There's no reason if you're a small business you shouldn't be making money in today's economy, okay? I don't care what business you have. If you're not making money, you're not passionate enough about your business, okay? So next is lead generation. And I'm going to spend a lot of time on this. Here's what I want you to do. When anybody that sends me a text, okay? I did a complete module on lead generation, okay? How to develop 10 different lead generation systems, and that's what we're going to send them. So lead generation, you need to have at least 5 lead generation systems running simultaneously at all times. Some real quick ones, networking events, okay? And if you've never been properly trained on how to be at a networking event, go to my YouTube channel and look up the YouTube video I have up there. It's like 5 minutes long, how to get the most out of a networking event, okay? It's an amazing video. Check it out. Every single time I use that strategy, I walk out of there with 5 to 10 contacts that are quality leads, okay? And I don't waste time at networking events, okay? Number 2 is POI, person of influence. I did an entire 5-video series on POI, okay? So we need to drop, I'm just going to give away crap stuff to you. Just stop me. Okay, drop the POI video series in there as well, okay? We're going to give you the POI video series. POI is an excellent way to generate leads, okay? And I want you to take action on that. Friends and family, okay, making sure that you're not a secret agent, okay? So I sat down in my office here last week with someone and gave them a strategy session, and they've been in one business for 25 years, and they've been in a real estate business for almost 2 years. And the biggest challenge was cash flow. The biggest challenge is nothing. I go, okay, well, you've been in business for 2 years. How many deals did you close? She said, 4. I go, okay, great. How many leads do you have? She said, I got 17, but only half of them are active. I'm like, okay, you don't have a cash flow problem. Okay? You have a lead generation problem. Okay? You've been 25 years over in this business. Why haven't you gone talk? How many leads do you have over here? She goes, over 125 of reoccurring clients that come in over and over and over and over again. I'm like, have you talked to them? No. I go, here's the biggest challenge you got. You're like most real estate agents. You're what's called a secret agent, okay? You're not with the CIA either, but you are a secret agent. Nobody knows you're in real estate, okay? If nobody knows what you're doing in business, they can't give you money. And the biggest challenge that most business owners have is obscurity. Not enough people know about you and your deal, okay? So I told her, I says, we're going to go and we're going to craft a couple of lead generation systems. We're going to create some content that these people would really, really love to get from you. It has nothing to do with real estate, and we're going to send it to every single one of them. And we're going to let them know what you're doing. You're coming out of the closet, okay? And so she's like, okay, great, I'm fired up, you know, because the thing is now she knows that, hey, you know what? If you think of in terms, what does my client need? what does my client want? And you do those surveys, you're going to find out exactly what to give to your client. You may or may not sell it, but you could put yourself in a cash situation where you can earn money on that referral. Okay? So existing clients is a great lead generation system that you can run on a regular basis. I recommend survey your clients at least once a quarter, okay, at minimum, okay? That way you can constantly be up on what they need. Next is, so we covered networking events, we covered POI, we've covered existing clients, referrals, okay? Referrals are another wonderful, wonderful way of generating leads. Go out to my YouTube channel, type in how to turn LinkedIn into a lead generating machine, okay? How to turn LinkedIn into a lead generating machine. There's another one on there that says exposed, episode 2 about LinkedIn, okay? I did those 2 webcasts with Penny Pearl. I dropped some serious value bombs on referrals in there. I mean, some systems that I use in there that are just sick. I mean, they produce more leads than you could possibly ever get to, okay? So that's 5 that I gave you today. It'll be your fault if you don't take action on this and generate leads. You should never, ever, ever have a lead generation problem in any business that you start for the rest of your life. I'm going to tell you that right now because these systems work no matter what business you're in, okay? So that's lead generation. Next is you need to set appointments, okay? Some of you, let's just say this was the phone. Some of you are like, you hide from the phone. You're like, I know I got to pick that phone up. I know that I got to get, you know what, I got to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. You go to the restroom, right? And then you come back and you're like, damn, man, the phone's still there. And then you go, you know what, I got this big stack of papers over here. You don't understand. I got to put them in the file drawers, right? So you put them in the file drawers, right? And you're doing that, and you look around, and the phone's still there, right? And you make excuse after excuse after excuse after excuse for not picking up the phone. And a lot of you, the reason that is you don't know what you're going to say if they answer, okay? It's not that you don't want to pick up the phone. It's like you haven't learned that it's important to role play, okay? It's important to role play with someone else. It's important to detail out. To truth be told, there's only 5 to 12 objections you're ever going to get in any business. And the moment you know what those are, you can create responses and you can role play it. You can role play it with a friend. You can role play it with yourself. Don't practice on your prospect is what I'm saying. Okay? Send your prospect something that has incredible value, that gives you a reason to follow up on them. Follow up and know exactly what you're going to say before they pick up the phone. If you don't know what you're going to say, okay, put the appointment setting training module in there as well. Okay, I want you to go watch the appointment setting training module, okay, that I did for the SBA about, I think, back in 2015, and I do exactly what's in there. And you're going to be a freaking killer when it comes to setting appointments. Okay, you need to learn how to set appointments. Okay, now if you're in business and all this stuff I'm telling you about right now scares the crap out of you, right? You need to skill up. Okay, you need to put on your big boy pants or your big girl pants, and you need to skill up. Because if you continue to avoid sales, you're never going to solve your cash flow problem. You're never going to solve your cash flow problem. Employees, yeah, I can expect them hiding from the phone. But as a business owner, if you hide from the phone and you resist this, you might as well quit. You might as well get the hell out of business, go work for somebody. And I'm being hard right now. I'm being truthful with you. I love you. I care about you. I want you to succeed in business. And I'm going to tell you like it is. And that is, you need to learn how to sell. Okay? I did an entire 12-module sales training program for the SBA. I recorded it. You can have it for free. Okay? But it's going to take you taking the action to get out of obscurity and into the light so people can give you money. Okay? So setting appointments is important. Learning how to convert those appointments. Again, it's going to be in that training module. Retention. Have retention programs for your clients. Reasons for them to stick around. Okay? One of my best retention systems in place is I simply go and buy my client coffee or lunch once a quarter. Okay? I take my top 12 clients and I go and I meet with them and I'm just saying, hey man, how's it going? How did it go in your business this last 3 months? What were your biggest wins? What were your biggest challenges? I get to know them on a personal level. You know, how can I help you over the next 3 months? You know? And whatever they tell me, even if I can't solve their problem, I go out and find somebody that can solve their problem. Because that's what I want. That's the relationship I want with my client. I want to know that I'm solving their problem. By me taking a vested interest in my client and solving their problem, I get to keep them as a client. And too many business owners out there, they do all this effort, right? They generate a lead, they set an appointment, they run an appointment, they do a stellar presentation, they get the prospect as a client, and then they ignore them. And then they wonder why, I don't have any recurring revenue. Well, you don't deserve it. Unless you're going to take a vested interest in your client and pour your energy and effort into help them succeed, help them achieve their goals, help them increase their revenues. Why would they give you any more money? How many of you have had this happen? You're sitting down with your client, you're catching up, and they're like, man, I just bought a new phone system. And you're like, I sell phone systems. Why didn't you buy it from me? They say, hey, I just bought a new cell phone. I sell cell phones. Why did you buy it from me? Because they didn't know. I remember sitting down with Kurt Olson one time, man, and he was telling me, he's like, you know what? I need you to have Justin come out on Thursday because Comcast is coming out and they're going to install our new internet. And I'm like, dude, you could have bought that through me. He goes, well, you should have freaking told me. That was a 3-year contract, man. He was paying Comcast like $1,300 a month for 3 years. I could have gotten 25% commission on that. I'm like, that will never happen again. Okay? And stop letting it happen to you. Make sure your clients know all the stuff that you do. And you get that by spending time with your client, investing in your client, understanding them. What else can you do to serve them? Man, you get a client that you serve like that, talk about recurring revenue over. And I'm telling you what, man, there ain't nothing like recurring revenue. Okay? I love recurring revenue. Okay? Nothing like it. Okay? Referrals. Make sure you're asking your client for referrals. How to get some water. So, referrals. You need to have some referral systems in place. And it's very simple. With LinkedIn, go and watch those 2 LinkedIn videos. I give some really good referral systems in there. But constantly ask for referrals, and you'll get them. Okay? A simple referral system that I love. Take your top 12 clients, okay, that you absolutely love, that you want more of. Take one of them out a week. Either coffee, lunch, tea, drink, whatever. Okay? How's your quarter going? How did it go? What were your big wins? What were the big challenges? They're going to ask you the same. What were your big wins, John? What were your big challenges? And you say, hey, what about this next 3 months? How can I best help you, man? What do you need? Do you need me to introduce you to somebody? You need some referrals? You need more business? How can I help you over the next 3 months? And they're going to tell you. And they're going to do exactly what I just did. They're going to say, how can I help you, John? I'm like, I'm glad you asked. I was on your LinkedIn profile before I just came over here. I noticed that you know these 10 people. How do you know these 10 people? And I'm going to walk out of there with referrals. And if I do that with 1 client a week, I'll get 5 new referrals every single week on average. It's that simple. See, the leads are out there. It just takes effort. So that one simple system can make you lots of money. So do that. All right, let's talk about, let's go into where we have time. Okay, so we weren't able to get to tiredness or burnout today, okay? But what I am going to tell you, okay, is I want you to go to your favorite podcast channel, okay, and or your favorite podcast app, and I want you to subscribe to Cardone Zone, C-A-R-D as in dog, O-N as in Nancy, E, Cardone Zone, Z-O-N-E, Cardone Zone, Grant Cardone, okay? You're going to have to register, actually on the podcast, just subscribe. 2 Fridays ago, okay, 2 Fridays ago, he did an entire episode of the Cardone Zone on burnout. Okay, because this is like the second biggest challenge that business owners have is they're like, I'm tired in my business, I'm burnt out, you know, and really what it is they've lost their passion in their business. Okay, I know, man. When I had a partner break up in September 2011, you know, and we were running $1 million a year in revenue, and 40% of my clients left, okay, and I had to fire every single employee, and I had to rebuild that sucker, and it took 9 months to do, but I rebuilt it, and it was better, more profitable, all that stuff. I mean, I rebuilt that thing where I was only having to work 5 hours a week. It was sick. But I was burnt out, man. I was tired. I remember sitting at Tobacco Road here in Sacramento with my buddy Richard Hassman, and he goes, dude, you look like shit. You know, and I go, well, thanks a lot. I go, dude, I am just like, I'm done. He goes, what are you talking about? And I go, dude, I no longer want to do the business that I have. I'm just done, burnt out. And he goes, how can you be burnt out with all this money you're making? You know, I was making $30,000, $40,000 a month in just personal income. You know, he's like, how the hell do you get burnt out with that? You only work 5 hours a week. I'm like, my heart, I don't even like the business anymore. If I hear another engineer complain about the client or another client complain about the engineer, I'm probably gonna, you know, go crazy. But I was burnt out. The reason I was burnt out is I was no longer passionate about what I was doing. And when I heard Cardone's talk 2 weeks ago, I'm like, that's exactly what causes burnout. It's not about working a lot. It's not about working too hard or lots of hours or any of that stuff. It's about doing something that you're completely on fire and passionate about. Today I work, 70, 80 hours a week at what I do. And I look back, I'm like, oh my God, I gotta take a break, man. Maybe I gotta go play golf. I totally forget about golf or any of that stuff because I'm just extremely passionate about what I do right now. Okay? And so if that's you, if you're like struggling with burnout or you're tired or you're just not motivated, right? Here's 2 things I want you to go do. I want you to go subscribe to Cardone's podcast, okay? And I want you to listen to the episode two Fridays ago on burnout. Okay, that's number 1 thing I want you to do. I want you to go and get his new book that just came out, and it's called Be Obsessed or Be Average. Be Obsessed or Be Average. It's by Grant Cardone. You can get it at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, anywhere. I started reading this book over the weekend. I'm like, oh my God, I got my copy on Friday, right? Came in the mail. I'm like, oh my God, this is great. Started reading the book. I'm like, this has got to be the biggest injection of adrenaline that I've had in a long time. I mean, I am more passionate about my business than I've ever been, and that book is just unbelievable. Highly recommend you go get that book. So do those 2 things. If you struggle with that, we'll hit on this again next week, okay? And next week we're going to talk about, what are we talking about next week? Tiredness, burnout, finding and retaining profitable clients, and motivating employees. That's what we're going to talk about on the next edition of the 10X Business Owners Mastermind Call. I'll see you next Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. If you're in Sacramento, make sure you come to the Business Owners Planning Series tomorrow. Make sure you come and see me as a keynote the following Thursday. Go out and make it happen, guys. We'll talk to you later.